Credit, credit, credit. I did not realize how important credit was until I tried to move out on my own with no credit. What is up and what is... What is up and what is poppin', YouTube gang? It's your girl, your babe, Maya, back at it again with another, say with me now, video, schmidio, idio, okay? And today, y'all, I'm so excited to be bringing y'all this video. When I say I've been getting so many DMs for probably the past year, like I did make a video similar to this in the past. So if you haven't watched that, make sure to check it out. But I'm so excited to be bringing you a part 2 on how to move out on your own at 18, 19, 20, young. You know what I'm saying? Young and doing the thing. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit my bell and my subscribe button, as I am so consistent on all of my platforms, girl. Not just YouTube. Get to the TikTok. Get to the Instagram. Get to all of that. But you know I hate long intros. You want to know the tea? I'm going to give you the tea. Let's get into the tea. So, how to budget / save to move out on your own. I moved out personally when I was actually 17 years old, but got my real first apartment situation at 18. So, it's been a year now, over a year. It's been like a year, 2 years? It's like a year and a half. It's been like a year and a half of me, living out on my own. So I've accumulated some tips and tricks on how I got here, and I'm gonna show them to you. So yeah, I've been doing the thing. All glory to God. Before I go into any of this, like, He's really the reason I'm sitting here, if we're being honest. But I also want to tell you what my part was in this, because faith without works is dead, okay? But anyways, let's get into our first tip. Number 1, you have to accept the fact that you have to be disciplined during your process or building season. So I would say 6 months to a year before you decide to move out, that's when you have to be the most disciplined you've ever been in your finances. Like, girl, you have to be on it, because this is a time where you're building, you're saving as much as you can so you can finally move out on your own. So first, I just have to tell you guys that this is not like so cute and fun and what it seems like. You really have to be disciplined. You can't be going out every night. You can't be, wanting to buy Uber Eats and DoorDash and everything every night. Like, you have to be disciplined in your spending if you really want this. Like, tunnel vision, y'all. You have to have tunnel vision. Know the end result, like the end result. If you have an apartment you want, put it as your lock screen. Okay, put it as your lock screen. So every single time you try to go on DoorDash, click it and you see your lock screen, you're like, okay, maybe there's food at home. Maybe there's food at home. So just accept the fact that you have to be disciplined during this season of your life, because it will pay off in the long run. Number 2, you have to establish your future budget. Not your budget for right now when you're living with whoever, your parents, whomever you're living with. I'm talking about your future budget. So before I moved out, I knew how much rent I was going to pay. I knew how much electricity I was going to be spending, groceries, all that. I had it planned down to a T. Now, personally, I am a planner. I like to plan, but this is also really good just for anybody who's moving out. You need to be a planner. You have to be a planner, or else it might not work out so good for you. So plan your budget in advance. Let me go deeper. If you have a specific apartment in mind, then that's going to be your rent. If you're not really sure, then just look up average rents near you or your budget. Whatever your budget is, make sure that that's going to be in your monthly budget. Obviously, rent's going to be like, that's the first thing that's got to get paid. So I would put that as your top priority. Then I would search up the cost of average utilities around you. Girl, utilities, like, those are the bills that sneak up. Like, okay, when rent gets paid, it's like, okay. But when utilities come, it's like, dang, I forgot that I have to pay $100 in electric or $100 phone bill or all that type of stuff. So make sure all of that is in your budget as well. Just don't think it's rent and done. No, we got rent, we got electricity, maybe you got water. But I have a tip for you. If you are moving on your own, I would look for a place that covers most of your utilities, like water, trash, all that. Have that covered, because that's just extra headache. And honestly, my apartment, I only have to pay for electric. The rest is all included in the rent, and that's just so, like, it's relaxing because you don't have to worry about all these bills. Trust me, I got a lot of other bills besides that, but I'm saying, it just minimizes your bills. So try to find a place where most, if not all, of the utilities are included. So after you've done rent and utilities, then you've got to add all of your gas, your entertainment for the month, clothes, whatever it is that you spend every single month, make sure that's also included in your budget. Now, this is going to get you into the movement of what it's like to live out on your own. Having a budget that you could look at. Before I moved out, and to this day, I use the app Mint. Not sponsored. It's a budgeting app, and you can see all of your bills, when they're due, all that type of stuff. I'm very organized, so I would recommend to be organized as well if you really want to succeed in this living alone game. So have all your utilities, all your rent, all your bills, everything in a budgeting app so you can look at it every single day and get a feel for how much you're going to be spending on a monthly basis. Number 3, it's time to cut cost. You have got to be on your budgeting game. So let me put you on. When I first moved out, I used Coupert. Coupert is an extension that you could put on any Chrome, Safari, Edge, or Firefox. And basically what it does, you go on there, okay, I'm going to show you right here, but you go on there and then you can shop like normal. What Coupert does, it automatically applies coupons to your purchase. So when you get to checkout, the savings, y'all. I used Coupert for months before I moved, and when I say I saved so much money, I mean so much money. It really cut half of my spending outside of bills in half. I love to find budget-friendly things like this because they come in handy. Like, you need to save every single coin you possibly can. So Coupert makes it very, very easy to do so. I showed you guys on here how to do it. It's literally 3 steps. It's super, super easy. I'm gonna have them linked down below so you guys can check out their website and get into it because you want to save as much money as possible. And Coupert is gonna help you along the way in doing that. So make sure to check them out. They will be linked down below. Don't miss out, girl. You need Coupert in your life. So number 4, girl, you gotta get all the coins you possibly can. Whew. When I say you've got to pick up side hustles after side hustles, I mean it. Living alone is far from cheap. I don't care how much your rent is. Everything that comes with living alone is super expensive. Like, when those bills hit you, girl, it's a lot. So having side hustles like DoorDash or maybe YouTube or Uber, who knows, like those easy, simple jobs. Well, I'm not saying YouTube's easy, but I'm saying stuff like that, side hustles like that can definitely help when you need some extra coins at the end of the month when rent's about to be due and it's looking a little scary. Pick up stuff like that. Most of them are literally from your phone, so that's why I recommend doing stuff like that where you don't have to go and clock in, but you're gonna need some side hustles. Unless you have a really good job, you're gonna need some side hustles. That's just the reality of it. There's also so many great opportunities online to make money, so if you're into that, look into that, all that type of stuff, but you're gonna need some side hustles. So I would recommend getting at least 2 side hustles. So those are things that you could pull from if money's ever tight and you know you always got it on your back burner. So the next tip is actually a question that I get a lot, and it's how much should I be saving up before I decide to go out and move on my own and be an adult? I would personally say have 6 months of your bills, all of your bills, in your savings account before you take that step. Now, this is ideal, and I understand a lot of people can't do this, but I like to have security, and I like to know that just in case something happens, I have something to pull from. Having a savings account is definitely essential in being successful and living on your own, because sometimes you might not make as much as you thought you were going to make that month, but you always have a savings account to pull from for emergencies. And let me stress, emergencies. Don't just be pulling from your savings account to get DoorDash. Like, come on. Don't do that. It's for emergencies only. So having a savings account where you have 6 months of your bills in full right in there, that's going to give you a little comfort. That's going to give you a little security. So that's what I personally would recommend. Now, is this the case for everybody? No. But again, this is just my personal opinion and what I would recommend to actually be successful in moving out on your own. Next tip, credit. Credit. I did not realize how important credit was until I tried to move out on my own with no credit. Listen, you have to build your credit for most apartments. Most apartments or townhomes or whatever you're trying to move into are going to look at your credit score. If you're trying to move out at 18, then you're probably just starting to build your credit. But the day you turn 18, you better start building your credit, because it's gonna come in handy when you try to apply for apartments. Now, some of them might not look at credit, but majority of the ones I personally looked at, credit was the #1 thing that they looked at. Now, usually when you're 18, you might get denied for a lot of credit cards simply because you have no credit. But there's something called a secured credit card where you put a deposit down on that credit card. So basically, it's like security. If you don't pay that off, they're going to take that money back from the deposit. But get started with a secured credit card. You'll be able to build your credit. I got my credit score up to a 750 literally within 6 months, so it's not hard as long as you don't spend a lot on that card. Say you have a $500 limit, I would spend $50 on that a month just so it can show that I am spending but not too much. And then make sure you are paying your bills on time. If you miss a credit card payment, girl, I feel bad for you. Don't miss your credit card payments, sis. You need to have that bomb credit score, so get a credit card. So number 7, a cosigner. Now, I personally did not use a cosigner just because there's a lot of responsibility on that cosigner. Not saying I would never not pay my bills, but I never wanted to put anybody in that position. What a cosigner does is if you can't get approved for that apartment or whatever, townhouse, house, whatever, that person will come in, they'll have the credentials to get approved, but they're just as responsible for if you don't pay rent or whatever it is, eviction, all that type of stuff. They're just as responsible as you are. So it's a cosigner, 2 of them coming together, co-signing. So if that is like one of your last resorts or whatever, if you're comfortable with doing that, then I would recommend getting a cosigner just because you won't have to meet all the credentials to get approved into that apartment. Say you don't have any credit, but your cosigner has really good credit. You'd still get approved because they co-signed on it. It makes sense? Okay, it makes sense. So if you don't qualify for the apartment you want, then look into getting a cosigner. And number 8, my final tip. Now this one really helped me a lot with getting familiar on what it's going to be like to live alone. Girl, I'm trying to stress the point that when you're alone, you're alone. I don't know what it is for y'all, but all of my bills fall on me. And if I don't pay my bills, it falls on me. So to get myself ready for that, what I did is I made sure that I was paying 3 bills a month a year prior to ever moving out, just to get familiar with the process of paying bills on time, having set deadlines where I needed to get things paid. All that type of stuff is going to help you get familiar with it, because when you live on your own, it's going to be bills, 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 bills. And if you're not familiar with paying bills and auto pay and all that type of stuff, then you might be a little bit overwhelmed and be like, I don't know if I could do this. So get yourself familiar with it before. Have 3 bills at minimum that you're paying every single month a year prior to moving out, and you're going to feel way more comfortable when you finally are out on your own. Okay, YouTube gang, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment and video suggestion down below. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below as well, as I'm here to answer everybody's questions. I hope this helped you out to understand a little bit more of what it's like to live on your own and how to prepare for it. God be with anybody who's out there trying to do the thing. Stay prayed up, stay in his word, and I promise you, he will give it to you. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm gonna see you next video. What is up and what is